And welcome in another edition of Caught Stealing, the fantasy baseball podcast here at fantasyalarm.com. I'm your host, Colby Conway at Colby R. Conway. And with me here, as always, Joe Galina at Joe Galina, Gallina, over on X. So, Joe, I know I just told you, but I just got back from a wiffle ball game, got a big win, moved to 4-1 or 3-1, whatever I told you just 2 seconds ago that I don't remember. But we're off to a hot start, so things are good over here. But how are things for you?
Glad to hear it, Colby. Things are good by me. Just watching as much baseball as I can because there's only 5 weeks left of the season, then we hit the playoffs. So having fun talking baseball, watching baseball, also sneaking in some football too. Right? It's that kind of year, that time of year.
It sure is. And I think last weekend. We're recording this Thursday, August 28th. I believe last weekend was the biggest fantasy football drafting weekend of the year, or this one might be the top one, or it's a close second.
Very close. They're both very close. But I had my big draft last Saturday, and I'm thinking about doing another one this weekend. I don't want to be into too many leagues, but I'm in like 3 right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm down the home stretch. I got one. I had 2 last night, so 2 on Wednesday night.
Wow.
I gave myself an off night tonight. I figure. Well, I was playing wiffle ball, so
Yeah.
That was
Get
the
the
off night.
frustrations out, man.
Exactly. All the times I got sniped and the players I missed out last night I took out on that wiffle ball this evening on Thursday night. Nothing Friday, and then I got a draft Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and then I'm probably done unless I can sneak in one more best ball before
I'm sure you can.
before the season opener on Thursday. But Joe, I know we're a fantasy baseball podcast here, but just quick thoughts. Micah Parsons going over to Green Bay. I mean,
wow.
Green Bay gives up 2 first-round picks and $45 million a year, but I mean, hey, he can transform that defense. So
He really can. He's like, if you had a chance to ever watch Lawrence Taylor play, and Lawrence Taylor could take over a game, really could, and he's that kind of a player. So it's basically, obviously a blockbuster, but just to see a player of that magnitude get moved, amazing stuff.
And I can tell you, Micah Parsons getting $45 million. This team right here, Will Anderson is going to get at least that, if not more. So Will Anderson's a big winner in that deal too. But enough football. Let's talk a little bit about some baseball action going on here. But the New York Mets, we poo-pooed them for a little bit. The offense was struggling a little bit, but the offense is surging. Jonah Tong, one of their top pitching prospects, is coming up tomorrow as we're recording this, but Friday, probably today as you're listening to it. It's going to make his debut Friday. The team said he's not guaranteed a second start after that. It'll be interesting if they kind of bring him up for a one and done. And then they got Nolan McLean, who just posted the team's lowest ERA through the first 3 starts of their career. This Mets team was one that said, hey, we're going to spend and we're going to go all out to win. They're doing that. Obviously, at the deadline, basically, they made a bunch of acquisitions. If Ryan Helsley can turn it around, that back end of that bullpen's phenomenal. But what do we make of this Mets team here between the offense coming around? Nolan McLean looks like a stud, and now they just have this other top pitching prospect who's coming up to make his debut on Friday.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, on paper, the Mets are one of the few teams in the NL that could go all the way and win the World Series, obviously. And signing Juan Soto broke my heart, but look, you respect an owner who's also a fan and wants to bring home a winner, so you got to give them credit. In terms of what they've been doing lately, they just have the Phillies number when they're playing at Citi Field, right? I think they're 10-0 against them. But just prior to that, they were in a very, very bad slump. So they still got a ways to go. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to sneak in as a wild card. But when you look at starting off the season with basically I don't know if you want to call it a Mickey Mouse starting rotation, but we all kind of knew that Clay Holmes was going to run out of gas. He's been a relief pitcher his entire career. Kodai Senga has a 6.10 ERA in his last 7 starts. Having trouble making pitches in the strike zone. But so it makes sense that the Mets would turn to their youth and in the obviously in the minor leagues. But Jonah Tong, man, he looks like the real deal. You look at his minor league numbers: 2.54 ERA. just another one of these young Mets pitchers that doesn't give up a lot of home runs. The 4.2 walk per nine for his minor league career is a little concerning. And I understand why the Mets saying that, they're not going to guarantee him another start because he's already tied his max innings pitched this season. So, yeah, you got to, you get that. But Nolan McLean, man, no walks in his last two starts, a little over one strikeout per inning in his three starts. And I'm sure you saw this, Colby, the first MLB pitcher to have a 3-0 record, pitch 20-plus innings, have 20-plus strikeouts, and have a sub-200 batting average against over his first three career starts since Randy Johnson, man. So you're in good company,
That's very good company. I mean, he's got the curveball, and I believe I don't know if it's a sweeper or a slider. Everyone pick what you want, but
yeah,
he's got two breaking pitches that are filthy.
Mhm.
That will just wreak havoc on opposing hitters. Then you got Jonah Tong, who's got that relatively unique arm angle. There's like shades of Tim Lincecum in his kind of delivery. It's pretty straight over the top. He isn't quite as aggressive with that glove side lean as Lincecum was, but Tong's going to be interesting if he can control the walks. And then you made a great point about Kodai Senga, 6.1 ERA in his last 7 starts. I'm looking here, 31 innings pitched across that 7 starts. We'll come back to that in a second. But a 29-20 strikeout to walk ratio, a home run per 9 over 2. I know he missed a month with an injury from about mid-June to mid-July. He hasn't completed 6 full innings since June 6th.
No.
Like Senga's taxing the bullpen.
Yeah.
Every time he goes out there.
And he's always, if you look at his career overseas, he's always had issues with his control, but he had a very good first season for the Mets, and like you said, coming off the IL, so could be some lingering issues, but obviously right now his control, he has none. So, and when it comes to McLean too, I mentioned the innings limit with Tonga. I mean, McLean's already up to 113.2 innings pitched. He pitched 109 innings last season, so got to wonder, how much longer? I mean, can the Mets pull a Washington Nationals like what they used to do with Steven Strasburg and shut him down? I don't know.
I think the Mets are going to go to a 6-man rotation at some point to try to preserve some of these guys. But we're going to do a little segment in a little bit called Fact or Fiction. But we're gonna jump into it. Fact or Fiction: Nolan McLean starts a playoff game for the Mets.
I'm going to say fiction.
Okay. Well, we'll try that again.
I could be wrong. I mean, I could picture them, having to use him, in the bullpen. I mean, think about it. We still have, 4+ weeks left to the season. So, you think he's going to start a game?
Yeah. I think they'll give him one. But if not, think about this. Ready? Just picture this.
Yeah.
It's a brisk October evening. Mets are playing in a pivotal postseason game. Senga's pulled after 4 1/3 because he's at 87 pitches and 4 walks. McLean comes in.
There you go.
Walks an inning and 2/3. Jonah Tong comes in, shuts down the 6th. Garrett, Helsley, Diaz close the door.
I like it. I love it.
There it is. If that happens, you heard it here first. Caught stealing over at fantasyalarm.com. Joe, let me ask you something else here. I saw some rumblings over on X, and it's kind of been talked about a little bit, that because Baltimore gave Basallo that big extension, that Adley might get moved in the offseason. Am I crazy for thinking, because Adley between 2023 and 2024, as I look at it over here on my screen, between those 2 seasons, 39 homers, a double-digit walk rate, only a 15% strikeout rate, 264 average, 413 slug, 331 WOBA. Is Baltimore really going to move on after one bad injury-plagued season for Adley Rutschman?
If they were to try to trade him, they kind of traded him at his lowest value, right? I mean, you mentioned the good, but I'll give you the bad. I mean, since last year's All-Star break, he's batting .219 with a .299 on base percentage and a .345 slug, and that covers almost 600 plate appearances. So I get it. He's been playing hurt. Also, not the greatest defensive catcher either. Part-time DH. the expected stats are a little better than his actual numbers. Batting batting average around 255 over the past 2 seasons. If I was them, I wouldn't trade him. I mean, he's under team control until the 2028 season. Might want to wait until he's putting up some better numbers if you had to get rid of him. I mean, obviously they just pulled something out of the Atlanta Braves playbook by signing Samuel Basallo to an 8-year, $67 million contract, very team-friendly contract. And, he got off to a slow start, but a very small sample size for Basallo, but only 6 strikeouts in his first 10 games. But when it comes to Basallo, he's a catcher, but we don't know how long he's going to be able to catch because his defense is kind of questionable. And he's played some first base in the minor leagues, 103 games. Maybe he gets moved there. I mean, I get it. Why would they trade Rutschman? But I mean, are they in a full rebuild at this point, or do we think that they could, compete again next year?
I would think so. I mean, and here's the thing. Let's put the fantasy spin on this. Basallo is 3 starts away from getting 10 at catcher.
Mm-hmm.
All fantasy managers want is for the 2026 season for Basallo to have catcher eligibility.
Sure.
That's what we want. It's like the past couple of years. It's like, hey, Dalton Varsho, just catch 10 games, get us our catcher eligibility so we can draft you in the 4th or 5th round, stick you behind the plate, even though we know you're not catching it all this year.
Right.
So first and foremost, from a fantasy perspective, get Basallo his 10 starts. Let that be his primary position. We get the catcher eligibility in 2026. I just find it very funny how Baltimore it felt like they were in a perpetual rebuild for years. You get Adley, you get a bunch of these young guns. Adley was great for 2020. What year did I have that? I'm looking at Basallo. For 2023, 2024, half of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, well, we signed Basallo to a very team-friendly deal.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't have to move on from Adley.
No.
Like these two can coexist. It's not like Basallo is not the second coming behind the plate defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You can coexist with both of these guys.
Unless you could get a frontline starter. The one thing that they've, really missed since,
But the only time they've done is for Corbin Burns, then they let him walk.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, that really hurt them big time.
I'm looking at roster resource right now at this team. The first baseman's Colby Mayo. You can't tell me you can move Mayo to, I think he can play a little bit of third, right?
I think he's, somewhere in the infield. Yeah.
So why can't he play third? And then you just run Basallo and Adley behind the dish and then find a platoon guy at first base to offset Basallo.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can easily do it. I thought Mayo came up as a third baseman. I'm checking this here because now I'm questioning myself because I'm going to go on. Yeah, he played 66 games at third base. You can move him to third. Mm-hmm. Basallo plays first. Let Rutschman catch. When Rutschman doesn't catch, move Basallo to behind the dish if you want to do it that way, or find yourself a platoon guy at catcher or first to offset that. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't have to be Basallo or Rutschman.
Agreed.
And the last time I checked, Basallo's deal was what, 8 for 67?
Yeah, so it's a little over $8 million a year.
You have the Dodgers paying 14 guys $30 million a year.
Yes, yeah.
Baltimore can do it. I understand they're probably a little bit of a smaller market, but no, there's nobody on that team to a mega deal.
Right, and like you said, I mean, right now they have Mayo playing first base. Like I mentioned, Basallo has 103 games played at first base in the minor leagues. So I think they can definitely coexist.
Exactly. And what I come to is, in what world, like this is not the Pittsburgh Pirates, in what world does a player making $8 million a year impact another position?
Mm-hmm.
There are teams paying $15 million for a crappy third starter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You saw some of the deals that went out in this offseason for pitchers. Mm-hmm. My goodness. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be Basallo or Adley. But again, fantasy perspective, let Basallo get the catcher eligibility so we can have that for 2026. I don't know. I'm too worked up about the Adley deal. But I'm also pro catcher, so maybe that's maybe my bias is showing.
Is that where you played? I know you played ball. Were you a catcher?
Yeah, I mean, I was technically a second baseman, and then when I was, oh my gosh, I think I was 9. That would have been first year of minors.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the second game, the catcher like hurt his thumb or broke his, I don't know. I don't know if you can really break a bone when you're 9. I never did it, but he couldn't catch. So my dad was one of the coaches and he was like, "Oh, he can catch." Next thing you know, that's all I did from
Yeah.
9 to 20
Wow.
is catch. So that's all
Yeah.
I know. So
And especially, I mean, that's impressive you did it for that long. Especially also, I mean, I used to coach some little league. The best teams always had really the best teams in little league and youth baseball always had great catchers. So
yep.
very, very important position.
It sure is. I appreciate your appreciation for it. When my knees eventually go bad, I can route the bills right over to your place. So I'll just
There
leave the
you
address
go.
then to send them over. But looking to 2026, talking about Basallo, making sure that he ensures and maintains his catcher eligibility. The 2026 MLB schedule was released. We got a little bit of a couple of the opening day matchups looking at it here. So is there anything there that you're particularly interested in for the opening series of the 2026 season?
What do you think I'm going to say? I mean, the Yankees are playing opening night against the Giants in San Francisco. It's the only game on the schedule, so obviously, I watch a lot of Yankee games, and you know, it's going to be interesting for me to see what happens to the Yankees in the offseason because a lot of Yankee fans are calling for Aaron Boone's head and Brian Cashman, the general
Mhm.
manager, to be fired. And I think the Yanks, they're in position to make the wild card, but the same thing's going to happen that's happened to them over this past several years. They're a home run or bust team,
Yep.
and when you make the playoffs, you face some good pitching, and they shut down home run hitting teams. So it's going to be interesting to see what that opening day lineup looks like for the Yanks. I mean, people are calling for Anthony Volpe to be, you know, uh, taken off the team. I mean, he's
Mhm.
now 1 for 38. I was watching him earlier tonight. He made an error as well. Do we see Spencer Jones, highly touted prospect for the Yanks, open up the season with the big league club? He's a home run hitter, strikes out a lot, but it's going to be interesting to see because everyone's calling for him to be called up. Is Cody Bellinger going to opt out? So are they going to sign Kyle Tucker? By the way, since last week we talked about Kyle Tucker, he must be listening to the podcast because he's batting over 300 for the past week.
That's all you gotta do. I tell you, we get people right here at the Caught Stealing Podcast. Go to, I don't know, maybe Kyle Tucker's got a burner in the Fantasy Alarm Discord, and he saw some of the posts in there about him recently. But if you're not a member of the family, make sure you subscribe today. A lot of good information over there: fantasy baseball, fantasy football, and other sports as well. I'll also go a little bit homer, but I'll go a different reason. We got Pirates at Mets to open the 2026 season. How awesome would it be for? I'm going to move the matchups a little bit. Skeen Senga opening day.
Mhm.
Chandler McLean, game 2. Jared Jones, Jonah Tong, game
Hmm.
3. Of
Nice.
course,
Wow.
David Peterson could be in the mix and Clay
Mhm.
Holmes might be as well because I think he was a 3-year deal. But I mean, if we could get Skeen Senga, Chandler McLean, and Tong and Jared Jones to begin, that would be a pretty awesome 3-game set to open the
I'd
season.
pay to see that. No doubt. Definitely.
So I'll go that one. A couple other interesting ones. If the teams can keep the offensive athletics and Blue Jays is fun. And I'm gonna give a quick nod to Rockies Marlins because why the hell not?
Well, the A's are going to be playing a couple of games in Vegas sometime next year. Not the
Yeah.
stadium that they're going to eventually play in. And also, just an aside, a nice little thing: the Yankees and Mets are playing in New York. I think it's at Yankee Stadium, but for 9/11. So
Mm.
I think it'll be either the 20th. It happened in 2000, right? So it's it kind of be an emotional night. So baseball,
That would be
yeah,
2026. That'd be the 25th anniversary.
yeah.
So
So wow.
interesting. A lot of good stuff to look toward to in 2026. But let's touch on a little MLB news and notes here across the Major League Baseball landscape. We'll move through this relatively quick here. A couple weeks ago, I guess it's the reverse Kyle Tucker that we did, but Nathan Eovaldi likely to be done for the season with his injury after we talked about him of if he had more innings, would he be in the Cy Young discussion? This is a blow to the Rangers who are trying to make a fighter's chance at getting in there. Now they're without arguably one of their better starting pitchers aside from Jacob deGrom, but even he had the shoulder fatigue that caused him to miss a turn through the rotation. Doesn't seem like anything for Eovaldi that'll impact 2026, but fantasy managers will miss his ratio boost here the rest of the way.
Yeah, and like you said, a big blow for the Rangers. Uh, as we were recording this podcast, they're only 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. Like you mentioned, DeGrom with that shoulder fatigue. They've also lost the Rangers, Evan Carter to a wrist fracture, Marcus Semien to a foot fracture. So Corey Seager, I saw, was going for an appendectomy. So you never want to count out a Bruce Bochy managed team, but they've got a real hill to climb.
Yep. And the problem for them, too, I'm looking at it over here because I heard about it earlier today. Rangers, obviously, we're recording this on Thursday, had an off day today as we're recording this, but they got a 3-game set with the Athletics, a 3-game set with the Diamondbacks, 3 with the Astros, as if that's not hard enough. Ready for this? After that, 3 with Milwaukee, 3 with the Mets, 3 more with the Astros.
Wow.
And now with all those guys on the shelf, that is the epitome of the, like, when you talk to someone, they're like, we used to climb uphill both ways to get to wherever we're going. That's what it seems like it's for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
So tough blow for them there. And then you have the Milwaukee Brewers here. Trevor McGill's got a flexor strain. You obviously do the closer report and all the closer stuff at Fantasy Alarm. Is it as simple as Abner Uribe moving from the 8th inning guy to the 9th inning guy?
Nothing's ever really simple when it comes to the closer position, but he is the guy that I would recommend. If he's sitting out there on your waiver wire this weekend, pick him up. Remember a couple of years ago, I think it was 2023, when Devin Williams went down with that injury. They tried to give him the closer position. Abner Uribe didn't work out. I think he ended up in the minor leagues at one point, but he's really turned it around. Leads the majors in holds with 35 this season. Has really pitched well in the late innings, and there's a good chance we don't see McGill until playoff time. I mean, flexor strain takes anywhere from 40 to 80 days to recover. A big blow to the Brew Crew, but they have a deep enough bullpen where they could absorb it. They've also got, if Uribe is either unavailable or can't hack it, they recently traded for Shelby Miller, who's back from the IL. So, I would add Uribe, and as a sleeper, maybe Shelby Miller.
Looking at it here, Uribe hasn't allowed an earned run since July 12th, 17 straight scoreless innings, 18-7 strikeout to walk ratio in that. And if you look at it, despite the 0.00 ERA, only a 2.42 FIP. So a lot to like. And obviously that Milwaukee team is going to put him in a lot of good spots if he is going to be the 9th inning guy moving forward. Kyle Bradish returned from Tommy John. I believe he had 10 strikeouts in that start against Boston. I believe it was. I mean, if he's available in your league, you just got to pick him up at this point, right? I mean, the kid's talented. The Tommy John injury sucked, but Baltimore's going to kind of let him throw. They might be a little cautious with him, but no reason that he shouldn't be owned in how shallow of leagues? 10-team leagues, he should be owned?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, like you said, 10 strikeouts, no walks in 6 innings pitched. And that's one of the first things we look at is control when you come off that Tommy John surgery. Velocity was back to pre-Tommy John surgery levels. Obviously gives the Orioles some hope for next season, right? And you hope that they run him out as much as they can for the rest of the season. This way, maybe he won't be on too much of an innings limit next season. So definitely somebody to pick up off the waiver wire.
And Chicago, Luis Robert has a grade 2 hamstring strain. The team has basically acknowledged that his season could be over. If it is 110 games, it's the second year he's played below 120 games, basically setting up the fact that he's only played in the majority of games in basically 2 seasons, the COVID season and 2023 when he played 145 games. I feel like going into 2026, it's the same thing. Could he maybe get traded? And if not, you just hope that he racks up homers and stolen bases in the amount of games that he's played. But we're now looking at the past 2 seasons. That batting average has faltered. He's not even good in OBP leagues. He's literally a power speed guy who honestly doesn't do much else at this point.
Yeah, he's probably done for the season with the hamstring. issue. And that movie Bronx Tale, one of the famous little lines out of it is talking about wasted talent, and Robert, power speed guy, and just when he's at his best, he back in 2023, 38 homers, 20 steals, 264 batting average, but been batting in the 220s ever since. And he's been on the White Sox. He's basically only 27, but it seems like he's been around forever. Was actually on the White Sox during their playoff seasons in 20 and 21. Sox didn't trade him at the deadline like many had expected. I think he was hurt also, that stopped them from trading him as well. But you have to wonder if they're going to pick up there's a $20 million option on his contract at the end of this year. They could let him walk. But maybe they exercise the option, hope that he bounces back, and trade him for some minor leaguers to help rebuild their team. So like I said, it's just basically an unfortunate injury prone past couple of years for Robert. Not somebody I'm going to be drafting either next season unless he comes at a big discount.
Yeah, the injury's got to be banked in. That would pretty much be it. I'm looking at it here. Obviously, you can do whatever you want with numbers and make them tell whatever story you want.
Sure.
153 qualified hitters. If you had to guess, do you know where Luis Robert ranks in WOBA?
150. Oh boy. 42.
Oh, 145th.
Really?
145th. He's at a 290 WOBA. He's behind the likes of Michael Harris, Otto Lopez, Mason Wynn. Then you go to his slugging percentage. I have to filter all the way to the second to last page here at Fangraphs. 153 qualified hitters. Luis Roberts' 364 slug is 140th. I'll tell you what, it's a damn good thing he's got 33 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Because aside from that, he has done jack squat for fantasy managers there. But interesting to see that he is done for the year. So I teased it earlier. We're going to do a little fact or fiction here for a fun little, I'm just going to use the strategy session graphic because I like it here, but we're going to put Joe Galina to the test, a little game show style with a little fact or fiction. So let me ask you, Joe, this one might hit a little close to home to you, but fact or fiction, Cal Raleigh has 63 home runs by season's end.
I had fun prepping for this fact or fiction segment, so it's pretty cool. So, look, Raleigh, 28 games left, needs 13 home runs, right? That means that he's going to have to hit just about a home run every other game. I mean, that's tough to do this time of year. Has 9 home runs in his last 25 games, so that's close, right? But he's also batting 189 during that stretch. He's hit 3 home runs in his last four games, and home run hitters tend to hit their homers in bunches. So overall, the numbers show that he could be slowing down. And as a catcher, look, we just spoke about the catcher position. It's grueling, and I wouldn't fault him. So, but I think him hitting 63 home runs is fiction.
Fair enough there. We'll go over to looking at a couple of pitchers here. This one's kind of interesting because we got about 28 to 30 games left per team. A couple of the innings leaders, as I'm looking at it here, Logan Webb's at 166. I believe Garrett Crochet went 6 innings today, so he should be around 172. Tarek Skubal's at 166. Brian Wu at 164. Framber at 164. So fact or fiction, does any starting pitcher reach 200 innings by year's end?
I was going to say fiction, but then when you just mentioned that Crochet is up to 172 now, because I was looking at the list. Webb had coming into today's action 166.2. Crochet had 166.1. Skubal 166. But I don't know. It's like every team has a little less than 30 games left. So what does that give a pitcher an average? Maybe 5, maybe 6 starts left, and 6 innings per start, and I'm being very generous at the 6 innings per start, right? Even though Crochet did 6 today. So I was going to say fiction, but I will say fact, and I'll give it to Crochet.
If you go at Crochet at 172 right now, 5 more innings at 5 a pop, 25 at 172 puts him just under at 198. So you got to get an inning somewhere.
Yeah. So hopefully one game he goes 7 innings. One game he goes 7 innings, and that'll put him.
And who's to say? You have a couple guys in there like a Logan Webb or a Brian Wu. Can they get a complete game at home?
Yeah, why not?
Could they do it? Or Skubal, do they let him go, or are they saying, hey, let's get ready for the postseason with you there, big
guy? Last year there was 4 pitchers, right? Only 4 pitchers.
Yep.
Yep, 200
Yep.
or more.
We'll see what plays out with that one. So here we go. More than 3 hitters get to 50 home runs on the year. Obviously, you got a gimme right now with Cal Raleigh, who's sitting at 50. Schwarber's at 45. I believe he hit 3 tonight.
Did
As a
he?
report.
Really?
I got an alert. I think it said Kyle Schwarber. It was either a 3-run homer or he hit 3.
Wow.
Oh, okay. I lied. He hit 4 tonight.
What? Holy
Okay.
cow.
Yep. He's, as we're recording this, he's currently 4 for 4 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. Okay.
Oh,
So
that's
there's your
crazy.
second gimme.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here we go. We'll just make it. We'll keep with it. So you got Raleigh at 50. Schwarber's up to 49, assuming he'd probably hit one more. But then you got Ohtani at 45, Suarez at 42, Judge at 41. Will there be a third hitter? Assuming, well, Raleigh's already there, and assuming Kyle Schwarber can hit one more by season's end, do you get a third hitter to 50 by the end of 2025?
I think so. I think it's going to be Eugenio Suarez. He hits them in bunches, starting to get hot right now. And I think he hit. Did he have 3 this week or something like that? But like I said, when he gets going, he just hits them in bunches. And like for the month of June, he hit 11. For the month of July, he hit 10. For the start of the season, April, he hit 10. So he's capable of doing it. I think he's going to be the third beyond. So it'll be Raleigh, it'll be Schwarber, it'll be Ohtani, and it's going to be Suarez.
There you go. And you were absolutely right. Ohtani does have 3 dating back to August 22nd. So within the week, and he's got 4 in his last 27 at bats overall there. So then we'll come here to my final one here. I had to throw a Pirates one in there. I couldn't let a podcast episode go without mentioning the Pirates somehow, some way. But currently, your stolen base leader is Jose Ramirez at 36 at the time of recording. O'Neill Cruz is second at 34. So he's got 2 less stolen bases and 18 fewer games played than Jose Ramirez. So does O'Neill Cruz, who is now back from his concussion, end the year as Major League Baseball's leader in stolen bases?
Now, double check me if I'm wrong, but right now it's Jose Caballero, right? Leading with 41.
Oh, you're right. I do only have qualified hitters.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did. Oh, okay. I just did
and you're right. And Simpson is at 38. So let's say of qualified hitters. So we'll remove, unless Caballero can get there, then we'll count him. Okay. Chandler Simpson's not going to become a qualified hitter. Right, so of qualified hitters, so basically the leader of qualified hitters, Jose Ramirez, and then O'Neill Cruz. Does O'Neill Cruz lead all qualified hitters in stolen bases?
I'm still going to say no and fiction. It's when I have a Ramirez on one of my teams, and you expect him to go 30-30, but I didn't expect him to go 30-40, which he's going to do. And I'm very sorry, Colby. I know it's tough being a Pirates fan, but man, Cruz, he hasn't stolen a base. Am I right or wrong? Since July 25th. And since then, there's been 18 games since he stole his last base, and he's batting 134 and an on-base percentage of 216. You have to get on base to steal bases. So I'm going to give it to. I'm going to say that our stolen base champion for hitters with qualified number of at bats is going to be Jose Ramirez.
Yep, and you are right. Obviously, O'Neill Cruz did miss a little bit of time with the concussion, but you're correct. No stolen bases since July 25th, and couldn't really find water if he stuck him in the ocean right now. In terms of
it's such a shame because he's got so much talent. He hits the ball really hard. I think part of it might just be his approach. I don't know. You watch him a lot more than I do, but it's such a shame that he could probably be one of the best hitters in baseball if he tried. I don't know. Is it just maybe not enough talent around him, and pitchers focus too much on him? I don't know.
I mean, he's the only guy in that lineup that, right now, the most fearsome guy is someone I'm going to mention here in about a minute and 47 seconds. But yeah, I don't know. He might need a change of scenery to kind of like Luis Robert. Might need the change of scenery to fully unlock what could be there and just get some motivation back get some motivation back, get some win back in the sales there for O'Neill Cruz. But Joe, let's wrap it up. Little waiver wires here. If someone needs some help offensively, they need some production on the offensive side here. Who are some guys that people should be looking at?
So Alec Burleson, 48% rostered in Yahoo leagues, first base outfield eligible, Drafted him like tout head-to-head league, didn't have any patience, let him go, and now he's helping another team. For the past week, he's batting 364 with a 909 OPS. Taking it even further back, his last 23 games, batting 293 with a 729 OPS. Like I said, it gives you that multi-position eligibility, and a decent hitter. Obviously not gonna hurt you batting average wise as well. Can I give a shout out though to Ben Rice, 63% rostered. He's probably, if he's available, it's going to be a very shallow league. But man, what he's been doing lately, it's just he's batting over the past 11 games, batting 359 with 5 homers and 11 RBI. So pretty good stuff out of Rice.
Absolutely. I'll go a homer pick as well. Jared Triolo's white hot right now for the Pirates, so look to him in your leagues. And Luis Matos out in San Fran. Batting average sucks. Don't get me wrong for the year. Batting average is bad, but he's had a multi-hit game in 4 of his last 6, hitting 409 during that stretch. Strikeout rates down, walks are up, ISO looks good, and 2 home runs and 2 stolen bases over the last 24 plate appearances for him. So take a look at him, and Jared Triolo has been very good as well. I'll go ahead and jump in with the pitchers. I'll take some low-hanging fruit. If Jonah Tong and or Nolan McLean is somehow still available in your league, just go get them now. Ride the upside and hope for the best with those 2 youngsters. And then look to Cleveland. I've been very impressed with Parker Messick.
Me too.
Listen,
yeah.
I love a crafty lefty, and that's what he seems to be through 2 starts, 12-1 strikeout to walk ratio, 13.2 innings as well. He's done it against Tampa Bay, who hasn't been good against lefties, but Arizona's been relatively productive against lefties of late. So it's not like he had 2 cupcake matchups there. Would like to see some good run support from his offense, because that can be a little bit dicey with the Guardians there. But hey, if the guy is through 13.2 innings to begin his big league career, 12-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and he's a crafty lefty, sign me up. That's the archetype I like, as well as when Howard Bender was doing the show with me, I always joked that he liked the young power hitting third baseman, and I was always the strikeout ground ball archetype. That's what I tend to love, but I do love me a crafty lefty, and that's what Messick seems to be. So those are 2 pitchers, or 3 pitchers, I should say, I'm looking at. Who's one that you have your eye on?
So I was going to look at Messick too, but so you maybe dig a little deeper. So how about Luis Morales from the Athletics? And through his first 22.2 innings, has a 1.19 ERA, a 0.971 WHIP. I don't like the 4 walk per 9, but he strikes out almost 9 batters per 9. You might say, look, he pitches at hitter-friendly Sutter Health Park, and I know it's only a small sample size, but his home ERA is 1.29, his away ERA is 1.04, so that hasn't been bothering him lately. Has a good lineup behind him. The A's have scored the 6th most runs over the past month. Maybe that's part of the Sutter Health Park effect, but they've got some mashers in their lineup that could hit him out anywhere, like Langeliers, Kurtz, Rooker, Soderstrom, and Morales has a 2-start week next week. So I'll take Luis Morales.
Yep, and none of his pitches have like numbers that necessarily jump off the charts. Like I'm looking at it here. His changeup is his only pitch with a double-digit swinging strike rate, but the contact rates on all of his pitches are pretty good. Like they're numbers that you would like here. And like you said, he is slated for a 2-start week here. And I'm pulling it up here quick on roster resource, but it looks like Luis Morales next week is going to get a St. Louis team, which has been one of the worst against right-handed pitchers the past month and really for the whole season. And then if he gets a weekend start, it's against the Angels, who strike out in droves against righties, lefties, switch pitchers. They strike out against them all. So Luis Morales is in a good spot next week. But that's going to put a wrap on this episode here. Head over to fantasyalarm.com, become a family member today. Get all the great fantasy baseball, fantasy football, and all the other sports content that we have over there. And of course, that does get you access into the Discord, so you can pick our brains right from there to help your teams in pursuit of that fantasy baseball trophy, or maybe the fantasy football trophy, whatever it is for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video here. It would mean a lot to us, so please go ahead and do that. Give Joe a follow over on X at Joe Galina, JoeGallina. You can find me over on X at Colby R. Conway, and we will see you next week, which is week 1 of the NFL season. But I know this is a fantasy baseball podcast. But
Mhm.
in week 1 of the NFL season, we'll see you back with some fantasy baseball action here on the newest edition of Caught Stealing.